Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Captain Kurt here down at our Florida Training Center at Flight Junkies here. And I get a lot of emails from a lot of people asking a lot of different questions. They see so much stuff on the internet that sometimes they get really confused with all the opinions out there. I've been doing this for almost 30 years as one of the first instructors, if not the first instructor in the United States teaching powered paragliding. And one of the questions that just came in from Alex in Iowa. Hi Alex, I told you I'd make this video. He asked me if I'd make a quick video because he looked all over the place when he was trying to research how to take care of your wing. I guess there's not a lot out there, so I told him that I would make a video. So Alex, this one's for you. A lot of people buy different kinds of wings. First of all, let me tell you, when you buy a used wing, you want to know the history of it, or you want to know that that it's been checked and thoroughly checked recently by a wing inspection facility, an established wing inspection facility. The wing can look crispy and brand new until the day it's ready to fall out of the sky. And if you watched one of my other videos, I had a wing go bad on me that I took in used, and I thought it had more life on it than it did, and I didn't have time to send it out, and so that's my mistake. And it went parachutal on me and put me straight down. I didn't crash or anything. Fortunately, I was in the fly pod trike, so I had all that steel around me, but it comes straight down when they quit working. And if you watch that video, you'll hear more about that. So the wings do have a long life, especially the wings we sell. There are some wings on the market that don't have the same shelf life as like the Power Atlas and the Air Design. These are quality wings. Some of the new manufacturers, under the disguise of telling you that their wing will launch easier because it's lighter, I'm not buying into that. I've never bought into that. They're lighter, but they're also wearing out very quickly. And you don't want to have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars every year, every 2 years, every 3 years. I have a Power Atlas glider that's almost 15 years old. Now that wing has been around for a long time. It's been redesigned about 5 different times. They keep improving on it, and it's just a wing that never goes out of style. It's unbelievably safe. It's an intermediate glider, so you're not going to outgrow it. The flight characteristics are amazing, but the nice thing about my Power Atlas is they're built to last. They're not super paper thin, but they're not real thick either. They're very easy launching wings. They launch easy in low air. With a trike, they pop up nicer than any other wing I've ever had. Even the Air Design does the same thing. So I carry those 2 wings, Air Design and the Adele Power Atlas. The wing is a long-lasting wing. If you take care of a wing, it'll last a long time. One of the questions Alex brought up out in Iowa is, what do you do when it gets wet? Well, every morning when we're out here, sometimes this field is just soaking wet from the dew in the morning. If we were to fly for a little bit and land it on that and drag it around on wet ground and the wing was all wet, we don't want to pack it away for too long. Maybe a day or 2 is okay to get away with, but that moisture in there is going to just start to get musty and mildewed, and it's going to start to stink. Anytime my wing is wet, I bring it indoors to dry out. If I dry it out outside, I don't want to be in bright sunlight. I want to put it in a shaded area. If I put it in bright sunlight, it's the UV that eats them up. The UV takes life off of your wing. It eats through nylon, and so we want to keep it out of the sun as much as possible. It's okay to have it out there for a little bit, and sometimes flipping it around for about 10 or 15 minutes dries it out pretty good. But I prefer personally to bring my wing indoors if it was in the rain or on some wet ground that there was raining that day and I'm packing it away wet. I bring it inside. I open up the wing bag, and I don't even have to take it completely out of the bag. I just kind of fluff it around inside my wing bag. And we have a very unique way of rolling these up. The reason I don't lay it out in the sun is not only because of the UV, but I don't want it to dry the lines too quick and have shrinkage in the line. We don't want to lay anything in the bright sun. So I don't do that, but there's nothing wrong with getting it wet. I've even been caught in little misty days where it's not really raining, but kind of mist, and my wing was kind of wet. It's not going to hurt it, but again, you don't want to pack it away for a long time. The other question that was posed is, what do you do to get it clean when it gets dirty? In my opinion, most of the time you're taking off out of places like grass and different things like that, and beach areas, but sometimes you're in places where the ground is kind of muddy. You'll hear all sorts of things on the internet. Some people like to hang it over a clothesline, again, in the shade, and they take a little cap full of woolite in a pump spray bottle and spray it down, and then let it drip off any kind of mud or anything that's on there, and then take another fresh pump container, like one of those garden sprayers, and put it on and just hose it down again with some fresh water, and then of course dry it out the same way. Just kind of bring it in the shade or put it inside the house and move it around until it's dry. And but I personally, when mine gets a little bit dirty, I just kind of leave it. I don't mess with it. I don't want to have to soak it down and saturate it. And usually the dirt just ends up coming off of it. And again, they don't really get too dirty because you're not really launching from mud pits. And some guys get one wing, if they had it for a while, they buy a second wing, and they use that first wing for what's called a mud wing. And that's the one that they don't care if it gets dirty. Maybe their other one they want to keep clean and shiny for when they're flying around crowds or doing this, or just keep real nice. It doesn't change the flight characteristics because it's got a few dirty marks on it. So you don't have to worry about that. I had one guy, and this is true, and I bust his chops all the time about it. I had a guy call me up and he asked me if I could get tangles out of his line. I have a very unique way of doing that. I'm going to do a video on that someday. And he said he's fussed with it and he can't get it out. He came over to my house, and I mean, all of the lines were and the whole wing was in like a rat nest. I'm like, what happened to this wing? I've never seen lines get messed up. He took his whole wing, no joke. He took his whole wing and the lines, and he stuck it all in the washing machine. Not kidding. No, I said, you can't be that stupid. And I still tell him to this day, that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And he put the whole thing in the washing machine, and the lines were agitated. They were all, and then it got worse. Because how do you think he dried it? You got it. He threw it in the dryer, and that thing was puckered in some places. Some of the lines were shrunk. Amazingly, it was still flyable. I could not believe it. But some of the lines, you could definitely notice a difference in the line because they shrunk in some areas. They stayed long in others. But for God's sakes, don't ever do that. But I hope that answers a little bit of your question. A wing should be inspected. If you bought the wing brand new, it should be inspected within about 3 years, unless you've had trauma with it. And trauma means getting it caught in the propeller. Maybe you had a failed launch and the things got caught in the propeller. If there's been any kind of trauma, even if you unwrap it from the propellers and you say, gosh, there's no damage to any of the lines, there's no damage, it doesn't look like it got any holes in it, but there was still an impact when those propellers hit the lines. And I tell everybody, if they ever get their lines caught in here, they should probably send it off to a wing inspection facility. You can call me. I know a guy that does it, and he does a fantastic job. So just call me for the number, and I'll tell you where to send your wing off for inspection. Again, if you're buying used equipment, always have that wing inspected. Seriously, it's one thing if your motor takes a crap in the air. You bought a used motor and it's junk. You didn't buy a Fresh Breeze. You bought something else, and that takes a crap. But it's another thing if you're flying a wing that you don't know the history of, and the guy lies to you because he wants to sell it. When you're not dealing with a reputable company, they don't care about what they tell you. If it's got a little life on it, he'll let you find out the hard way. They want to recover their money out of there. So when I sell a used wing on my site, I not only give free training with it, but I also know the history of that wing, and I'll fly it first, and I'll have it inspected, and I'll go over it to make sure that everything's good with it. But when I have a brand new wing, I don't check it for the first 3 years. And then every other year, I will send it off to be inspected. They check the porosity, they check all the seams, they do a line strength test, and everything is thoroughly gone over, and then they'll give you a written inspection sheet to tell you that it's still airworthy. And you definitely want to do that, because that's the part that's your life right there. And again, they're very strong. So I hope that answers some of your questions. If you have any more questions, give me a call. I'll make a video about it. And our telephone lines are open from 8 in the morning till midnight. I am the last instructor any other dealer wants you to find. They don't like that we train free of charge. They hate the fact that we do this. They charge an awful lot for money. $3,000, $4,000, even $6,000 for training, and they only give you 7 to 10 days of training. If you get equipment from us, you get unlimited training for life, not only for you, but any member of your immediate family, your kids, your spouse, or your parents. and we sell only the German Fresh Breeze. There's nothing like it. And if you want to know what this trike has and the FlyPod trike, the features that are on the FlyPod trike have made it the best-selling trike on the market. If you want to know what the features are, check out my other videos, subscribe to my channel, and you'll see all my videos. But there are a lot of different features on a Fresh Breeze that are not found on any other brand on the market. So check it out, and if there's anything I can do for you, give me a call. We look forward to seeing you in the sky. God bless.